What is the ordered pair for point A in the coordinate plane below? In this lesson, you will learn to write coordinate pairs for points by using a coordinate plane. Let's review plotting a point in quadrant 1. The point we're going to plot is 5, 3. We always start with the x-axis, and in the ordered pair, 5 is the x value. So we move 5 units in the positive direction on the horizontal number line, which is the x-axis. Now from here, we look at the y value, which is the number 3 in our ordered pair. And this tells us to move up or in the positive direction on the y-axis from 5. This will be where we label our point of 5, 3. Now let's try another one, but this time we're going to move over to quadrant 3. You can see that the x value is a -2, so I move 2 places in the negative direction on the number line, and then the y value is -3, so I'm going to move down 3 units, and this is where I'll plot my point. Now, a common mistake that I've seen people make is that they begin moving along the y-axis first and then along the x-axis when they're finding an ordered pair. Now, this can be a real problem because, as you can see, they'll end up in the wrong place. For the ordered pair 6, 4, we should move 6 places to the right on the number line, but you'll see that some people will make the mistake of moving on the y-axis first and then over, which is not the same place. A second common mistake that I've seen people make is that they return to the origin after plotting the x value, and then they plot a second point for the y value. So for 6, 4, they plot a point at 6 and then return to the origin and plot a point at 4 on the y-axis, which is incorrect. What is the coordinate pair of point B on the coordinate plane? To find the ordered pair, I need to move along the x-axis, counting how many units I move. Because the x value is to the right of 0, I know that the x value will be a positive number. Now, I can count the units as I move, and I can see that I've moved 4 units to the right. This tells me that I can record the x value in the ordered pair as 4, because I would need to move 4 units to the right. Now, because point B is up on the y-axis, I know that the y value will be positive. I need to be sure and start at the 4 on the x-axis and begin counting how many units I move in the positive direction. Now, I moved 5 units from 0, so the y value is 5. Now the coordinate pair and the coordinate points for point B is 4, 5.
Positive numbers are greater than 0. On a horizontal number line, this means all numbers to the right of 0. And on a vertical number line, this means all numbers above 0. Also, negative numbers are less than 0. So on a horizontal number line, that means all numbers to the left of 0, and on a vertical number line, all numbers below 0. A coordinate plane is a combination of 2 number lines that we also call axes. The horizontal axis is labeled x, and the vertical axis is labeled y. To view the entire coordinate plane, extend the hash marks to form a grid, both vertically and horizontally. The start or middle of every coordinate plane is called the origin. We label it 0, 0 because we look at the middle of the x-axis and the middle of the y-axis. This combination of 2 values is called an ordered pair, and an ordered pair gives directions. For example, take the ordered pair +3 and +5. Notice the word order in the phrase above. This means there is an order to how we read the numbers. The +3 tells us how far to travel on the x-axis, while the +5 tells us how far to travel on the y-axis. Starting at the origin, which is the middle, We move to the right of 0 3 spaces because the 3 is positive. Then we go above the 0 5 spaces because the 5 is positive. At the end, we place a point to represent the ordered pair. Take a different combination like -1 and +4. Again, begin at the origin, but this time move to the left 1 space, because the 1 is negative, then move above the x-axis 4 spaces since the 4 is positive, and then we place a point. Some ordered pairs have two negative numbers, such as -3 and -2. Beginning at the origin, move to the left 3 spaces, and then move below the x-axis 2 spaces, and place a point. One last example combines a positive and a negative. Begin at the origin and move to the right 4 spaces, and then go below another 4 spaces. A common misunderstanding.
You've been learning about all the parts that make up a coordinate grid system. You already know that horizontal and vertical number lines are used to create a coordinate grid system that helps to locate points on a plane. Each of the grid lines is numbered. The numbers are called the scales. The horizontal number line is called the x-axis, and the vertical number line is known as the y-axis. You also know that axes is plural for the two perpendicular number lines used for locating points, and that where the two perpendicular lines intersect, that's called the point of origin. You can plot points by reading ordered pairs. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to name and record the addresses or the ordered pairs for a variety of points. A common mistake that students make is that sometimes they forget that it matters which coordinate to identify or record first to correctly name and record the address for an ordered pair that represents a specific point on a coordinate grid. Let's look at this grid. What would the ordered pair be that describes the location of point F? First, I look at how far the point is over from the x-axis and record that number first inside the parentheses mark. Then, after recording a comma, I check to see which number lines up with how far up point F is parallel to the y-axis and record that second number after I've written a comma, and then I close the parentheses. That's the correct way to record the ordered pair that names the location of point F. So we write it parentheses 2, 5 for the ordered pair that names point F. What are the coordinates of point H? Notice this point has a 0 for the y-coordinate since it doesn't move up but lays exactly on the x-axis. So we would write 4, 0.
So our coordinate plane, let's plot the point 2, 4. X is positive, so we're going to go to the right 2. From there, we're going to go up 4 because y is positive and plot our point. Now we're going to look at plotting -3, 5. X is -3, so we're going to go to the left of 0. Then from there, we'll go up 5 because y is positive. Now we have -4, -2. Because it's negative, we're going to go to the left of 0, and from there, we'll go down 2. For 3, -2, x is positive, so we'll go to the right 3, and then from there we'll go down 2 because y is negative. For numbers that have 0, like this, we go over 4, but then we just stay there. We don't go up or down. And if we have x is 0, we just start on the x-axis, and we would go down from there. Now let's look if we plot these 4 points, what we would get. We have 1 point in the first quadrant, 1 point in the second quadrant, one in the third, one in the fourth. If we connect them, we will have a square. Let's look at these 3 points. I have a point in the first quadrant, a point in the second quadrant, and a point in the fourth quadrant. Connect them and we have a triangle. You can even get pretty fancy with your drawings. By using a lot of points, you could make this house. Sometimes a coordinate plane will have a different scale. It's important to pay attention to what that is before you start plotting your point. So here are some examples of points being plotted with different scales. We still have our triangle.